Hi, this is Shashank Mehta. I'm the founder of Equity-Mat, a wealth firm based out of Mumbai. We help our end clients discover the right portfolio strategy that matches their investment temperament and recommend an asset manager who has a proven track record of running that portfolio strategy and delivering phenomenal returns. Today, here I am with Mr. Bhavin Shah, founder of Sameeksha Capital. Mr. Bhavin has a track record of excellence in equity research. The word Sameeksha is a Hindi word and it means thorough analysis to reach an accurate view. Sameeksha Capital has an extraordinary track record. The reason I say this is because over the past 8 years, they have a track record of investing into 30 multi-baggers. Sameeksha Capital's edge is not only to find winners, but also to spot laggards very early in the game. Sir, thank you really for this opportunity. And I hope we make the most out of this interview for our potential clients and existing clients.
Thank you for interviewing me.
Sir, let me begin this interview by asking how has been your journey? What is your background? If we could get a glimpse of Bhavin Shah's 30 years of journey, how did you think of forming Sameeksha Capital and Sameeksha's capital journey so far?
Yeah, so I developed an early interest in mathematics in high school years, and ended up winning a statewide Ramanujan Mathematics Talent Search competition.
Wow!
And interest in mathematics led me to study electronics engineering. But then during that process, I developed early interest in microprocessors, and I felt that no better place to learn more about microprocessor than United States. So I went for my master's degree in computer engineering, after which I got an opportunity to work with a team that was designing world's fastest microprocessor. So that was a defining experience for me because, designing a state-of-the-art microprocessor requires a very strong discipline, very clear focus on processes and rules. In fact, one of my mentors used to say that paranoia is the safest frame of mind. Basically means that worry about things beforehand, and if you do that, the chances of mistakes later on are reduced. Beyond that, the interest was always there to return to India, and I had also had a parallel interest in equities. So I decided to pursue MBA first from IIM Ahmedabad, but then ended up finishing it from University of Chicago Booth School of Business. And that led me to a career in investing. Before starting Sameeksha, I'd spent 20 years analyzing equities, in particular technology stocks in Asia as well as at a global level, and then also set up India-focused institutional equities business under the name of Equities Securities, which has been very successful. However, ultimately, and if I go back to doing an MBA, even in my business school essay, I used to write that I want to manage money in investment in equities in India. So I wanted to kind of basically fulfill that dream, and that's where Sameeksha came about. I was already approaching my the age of 50, but I felt that when I look at some of the legends like Warren Buffett or Charlie Munger, they kept working well into their 90s. In fact, Charlie Munger, till his last, just under the age of 100.
Yeah.
And that told me that, even from the age of 50, I could have a very long, I can take a very long-term view on this, on the idea of focusing purely on investing. So basically, I took an all-in bet, put everything I had, in equities into Sameeksha's PMS, and started Sameeksha with me being the first client. The journey of Sameeksha has been, obviously, as a startup, fairly challenging. Especially going through the rough periods in the market during 2018-19 timeframe, and also building a client base. But I was fortunate that one prominent industrialist took, have, put faith in me and invested, a very large sum upfront. That investor is still with me, and his money has, I think, grown about 7x in a period of just under 9 years.
Wow.
So I think the idea behind Sameeksha was to focus on investing, managing my own savings as well as others, but do it in a way that you do it using the principles and methods that I had learned over prior 20 years of experience in doing equity research in technology and then India on a broad basis. Working with some of the finest minds in processor design helped me to not only earn 2 US patents, but also develop respect for rules, processes, attention to details, and teamwork.
Wow. Thank you, sir, for giving such an elaborate answer. I could actually visualize you writing your essay paper in your MBA days, and 3 decades hence, you're able to really get the dream going. So for our end clients or investors who are looking for portfolio managers where the founder himself is involved in buying and selling decisions. In Sameeksha Capital's case, Mr. Bhavin is not only the founder but also the CIO. He's deeply involved in the investment process, buying and selling decisions. Also, importantly, he uses the same machinery to manage his own capital.